You think you're some kind of operator? You're not. The only thing you should be operating is a broom, a mop, a bucket, and a floor buffer. Additionally, was it really necessary to shoot every target like 100 times? 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, and move on, young man.
Welcome, everyone, to a special edition of the Scuttlebutt. This is a bonus episode that's going to replace our normal programming. We are your hosts, Sean Hall and Ryan All. And if you are listening to this on audio, make sure that you actually jump over to our YouTube, because we're going to be breaking down a viral video from 10th Mountain about a room clearing fail. And breaking this video down for me today is my co-host, as always, Ryan All. Ryan, you got a bone to pick about this.
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, what in the name of Battle Drill 6 is going on here? Is this Mount? I mean, somebody must have seen too much John Wick. You need to get out of the barracks. And the fact that some new private felt like it was a good idea to film this and it was good enough to lay over with a DMX track and put it on the internet is just beyond me. All right. X is going to give it to you. No, you know who's going to give it to you? Mountain 7 is going to give it to you. The entire post of Fort Drum is probably still in the front leaning rest. This is completely unsat. And what's this guy doing with his arm cocked up on the side? You should be more worried about hitting your points of domination than trying to look cool. You think you're some kind of operator? You're not. The only thing you should be operating is a broom, a mop, a bucket, and a floor buffer. Okay? And additionally, was it really necessary to shoot every target like 100 times? Okay, because the last thing you want to be doing in a situation like this is reloading. All right, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, and move on, young man. All right, that's how it's done. This whole thing is full of more flags than an NFL football game. All right. I don't want to Monday morning quarterback this for you, but your squad mates are not the enemy, so stop pointing your gun at them, all right? You are a no-go at this station. You are a no-go. You need to report for retraining at 0 Dark 30, where you're going to be issued a squirt gun, and once I'm confident that you can operate that piece, then maybe I'll give you a real weapon again. And as for the people supervising this training, what in the actual... Okay, oh my God, ceasefire, index, it's over. How did these soldiers pass the crawl and walk phase of this exercise in order for you to give them live ammunition? All right, that's my rant. Let's start the video.
So wait, they're using live rounds in this as well?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holy heck. Okay. You also said the word flag, which I've also heard in response to this video. There's a lot of flagging here. Is that a military term, or is that like an NFL term?
That is a military term. As we start off right here, right, this is so MOUT, right? MOUT, military operations in urban terrain. You have the basic parts of what Battle Drill 6 is, right? So the infantry has a lot of battle drills. You have movement to contact, you have platoon attack, squad attack, react to contact, break contact, and Battle Drill 6, which is clear a room. So Battle Drill 6 and MOUT in general is one of the most difficult things to do. You have to train on it and train on and train on it. It's one of the most casualty producing things that a military can, get itself involved in, because if you think about, like, when you kick open a door, you don't know what's on the other side. It's all instant reaction. But there are principles which we use and we train on to execute Battle Drill 6 effectively, so that you can react. So what they're in now, right? They're prior to kicking in the door. You then go into a breach, and there's different types of breach. There's physical breach, there's mechanical breach, there's explosive breach, there's all these types of things. It essentially, you get in a stack. So this is called the stack. So right now they're in some version of a stack. This is not a very effective stack. What typically is done is you're lined up on the wall near the door. You have typically 4-man team. This is the most basic breakdown. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll just call them that, right? Mm-hmm. And it's in order of, proximity to the door, right? 4 men stack up. You do the breach. In a typical breach, number 4 man comes around to the door, kicks in the door. As soon as the door is open, you flood in. Basically, 3 is pushing 2, 2 is pushing 1. You're getting into that room as quickly as possible. 1 man goes one way. Rule number 1, get out of the fatal funnel. The fatal funnel is the doorway, right? Mm-hmm. That is where, if you kick open a door and there are enemy combatants in there, they're going to be shooting at that point of entry, right? Because that's the only way you can come in. So that is the fatal funnel. Get out of it. Number 1 man is never wrong. Whichever direction number 1 man goes, number 2 man goes the opposite way. Number 3 man then goes the opposite way of number 2. Number 4 man then comes in. The guy who just breached the door comes in and goes the way of number 2, right? So now you have on one side of the door, you should have 1 and 3. On the other side, you should have 2 and 4.
Okay.
You should be dominating your points of domination. Essentially, in a basic square room, the corners of the room along one wall. Number 1 man, first thing he does, down that wall, clears that corner, sweeps across the room, right? Engaging targets as he goes. Number 2 man does the same thing on the other corner, because if somebody's hiding in that corner, it's going to be a bad day for you, right? You want to make sure that that corner is clear. Then you sweep across the room. 3 and 4, they start off in the center and scan out. So now you have 2 sweeping fields of fire to dominate this room. Those are your points of domination. That's how it's supposed to work, right? It's an extremely simple exercise in its principles, but it is difficult to execute correctly when you're going into an area which you don't know.
So we would assume right now, like they're not in a line here. They're sort of umbrellaed in front of this door. That's one thing that seems like it's wrong. We're going to assume also that this is probably not their first time. Like if they have live rounds, they've done this a couple times or several. Yeah.
During any training exercise, especially a live fire exercise, you are going to go through a crawl, walk, run phase. Crawling being like basically walking through this thing. And then walk phase is going to be, you're going to go through with blanks. You're going to fire blank rounds, and you are going in any training with a shoot house. And there could be different ROEs or range safety issues with each, shoot house can be a little different. But you are always going to do the crawl, walk, run phase. You are always going to, and you're going to do it till you are sick of it. Every time I've been through a live fire shoot house or a live fire exercise, I was so sick of running through this. I just wanted to get it done with, right? Like it's like the Army can take anything and make it unfun, right? Hey, you're going to go through and shoot a whole bunch of stuff. And you're like, awesome. Well, you're also going to spend 2 days training on it without live ammo until the point that you're so sick of it. And it's so ingrained in your mind about how you're going to execute this that you can't possibly do it wrong, because we're not going to give you live rounds and let you run through a shoot house without making darn sure that you know what you're doing. So this stack in this situation, I'm not sure if maybe this is a range safety guy standing by the door. I won't give them too many negative points on the stack, because this could just be a range safety issue. This could just be like, we want you to enter the doorway in this manner, right? Because we think it's more safe than you trying to do a stack. So I'm not going to give them too many negative points, but typically that is not correct. You're standing, you're standing in a manner that is not conducive to you getting into that room as quickly as possible.
Okay. Should we go forward?
Let's roll that beautiful
roll
beam
tape. Okay.
So brief. Okay, number 1, first problem there. Okay, the guy breaching the door has someone behind him. That doesn't make any sense, right? I don't know who this guy is behind him, but there's a couple dudes standing behind the breach man. That doesn't make any sense. Two guys come in. That's fine, right? You're going in. You're both going in at the same time. Number 1, if you notice, we can see exactly where this guy is looking, right? Number 1 man who comes in, he doesn't even look at his corner. He's immediately looking at the target.
Oh, yeah.
Because he, has been through this probably 1,000 times in the previous 2 days, and he already knows where his targets are. So he's gonna fire, right? He barely even looks in his corner. He's immediately pointing towards the target. Incorrect, right? So they come in, boom, 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 boom. I mean,
and you said just unloading clips, like
they're firing a whole lot, which, maybe violence of action, maybe they're feeling pumped up, maybe their NCO told them to do it. Fine, no big deal.
Is this the arm cock that you were talking about in the intro?
This guy here. I don't know what he's doing.
Right here?
He's making himself a bigger target, in my opinion, is what he's doing.
Okay.
Gonna get that. You better tuck that thing in. It's gonna get shot off.
Oh boy. So they're laying waste to these targets.
Yeah. Okay. So now room clear, right? We stack up on the next door. It's not a due to the range, the way the range is built, not a completely ideal situation because you have these big targets sitting in the way of the way you would want to breach a door. Okay, so
Question about your targets when you enter the room. If you know that there are hostiles in the room, but there might also be, would you call them friendlies
yeah.
or non-threatening targets? If the person that's entering first is supposed to just clean the room, is it possible that you could accidentally end up shooting someone without weapons, or you're just trying to clear this house as efficiently as possible because you know threats are there and you don't know what threats are in there?
So yeah, I mean, obviously, you would never want to shoot a person who does not have hostile intent
Mm-hmm.
or has hostile action towards you. But this, you know, this is where these sort of things tend to happen
Mm-hmm.
because this is a very high stress situation. If you can imagine in real life, you know, you're coming in, you know that probably something's going wrong, so you have to make like this is the most split-second decision you're going to have to make
Yeah.
because you have zero idea what's on the other side of that door. You kick it open. Is there a threat? Are you a threat or non-threat? And I have literally, you know, half a millisecond to make that decision because if I make the wrong decision, me and my whole team could be dead.
Yeah. All right. So we're stacked up to the next door.
Stacked up to the next door. And boom. Okay, stop. This, right? Everything out the window here, right? This is, I mean, you have live rounds and you have two people shooting at more people going through, right? I don't know. That is 100% wrong. Right
This
there.
and here.
Those people who are supervising this training should have been like, ceasefire. This is not the way we do things. That, right? In a real world situation, things have to happen. In a training situation, not this. This is non-sat. This is not okay.
Okay.
You have two people pointing guns at them. Additionally, just with the breach of the door, and immediately the breach men then going through. That's probably not going to work. Again, could be a function of the way that the range is set up. So not too many you know negative points for this, but that's not typical. Right, that's not a typical SOP or TTP for
Where should these guys be pointing their guns?
If anything, if you're going to follow, okay, so this is a typical thing, right? One team clears one room, holds that room, and then the next team flows through.
Mm-hmm.
They should be continuing to secure this room. You can continue to pull security on that door until the next team is ready to breach it and move through. That's fine. But as soon as somebody moves past you, your weapon should you just there's nothing wrong with their positioning in the room. They should just lower their weapon and say, go, you know, go ahead, go breach this door. And you put your weapon at the low ready and don't point it at your battle buddies.
Right. And moving forward.
So in they go. Right. Again,
Also
here's
there.
another flag, right? Just pointing it right at the back of this dude. Okay. So I'm imagining that's either the squad leader. Hold on, pause it for a minute. That's either the squad leader or the range safety. Typically, range safeties have some sort of marking on them. He doesn't, and he has a weapon, which makes me think that he's probably their squad leader, not a range safety. So then he's coming through. Squad leader's managing his two teams and clearing this room. So then he comes through. He gets flagged, and he's like, "Okay, move on to the next room. Right, this room's secure. Now the team that cleared the first room is now flowing on to the third room. That's pretty typical."
Okay. Again, didn't look at the corner.
Again, didn't look at the corner. Again, two men breaching this for some reason. Again, like no stack up to ensure you're ready. Even if it's like a half pause, it's very common for like, okay, stop, ready. Are we ready to go through this door? Check up, good to go, breach. Right? Again, here we have the 1 and 2 man breaching the room in which they're entering, which is not the way I've ever seen anyone trained. Again, doesn't clear his corner. Again, just immediately starts engaging targets.
Okay.
With many rounds, probably more than are needed, right?
Also in a shoot house, like the guys setting up the training might put the targets, the hostiles at different points. Every time you do this, they might put them in different spots of the room.
It's so in some shoot houses that is allowed. If you'll notice in this one, all of the targets are on the same wall, right? They walk in, it's always to their left, essentially.
Okay.
Because that is downrange. There are
Okay.
some ranges that are set up to do 360 firing, like you walk into a room and the targets could be anywhere. In most shoot houses that you train on these sort of things, they're usually all on one side of the building because that is downrange, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In some of these like 360-degree shoot houses, you'll use sim rounds a lot. So you'll get like a different bolt to put in your weapon, and you'll get like these sim rounds, which kind of act like real rounds. They are real projectiles coming out. You wouldn't want to get hit with one, but it won't kill you, you know. And they're not moving with enough kinetic force to like bounce around the room. So, you know, you're gonna be able to shoot targets in any direction. So again, he comes in, they just pow, pow, pow. You know, lots of shooting, probably more than necessary. It's one target. You have 4 guys shooting at it, enough so that one guy now needs to unload. Right now, you are in a slightly vulnerable position. They move through again, more flagging. Again, the breachmen are also the first people into the room.
This guy also leans right up against the wall, right in front of his gun. Right here. All right, hold on.
Yep.
Those guys, and right here, he had him right.
Like their squad leader, I think. Yeah, man. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what either of them are thinking. Right. So probably like a room clear. Okay, come in. He flagged his squad leader again, and they're coming
back.
Yeah. So whole host of problems, right? Whole lot of things that were not done correctly. And when you train on this, it is something that you train a lot on. And there's a lot of, like I said, crawl, walk, run. Even as much as like we would train with like engineer tape, right? Which is basically like, just a type of fabric that you like lay on the ground or put on posts and just make these glass houses. So they look like rooms, but you can see them walking in. So it's just an ability to train yourself on the muscle memory of getting in and out of these rooms efficiently. But this is never seen anything quite that bad. And I can't believe that had they performed like this in running through iterations with no ammo, running through iterations with blanks, that they would be told that they are good to go with a live fire. Right. That is just can't happen. And then then the additional piece, which I brought up at the end of my rant, which is like, why are these people who are supervising this training not stopping it? Right? That should have been stopped like 8
immediately.
times.
Yeah. Totally. And it goes all the way kind of up because we're going to share a Twitter feed here of you're going to tell me who this guy is, please.
So apparently this is Mountain 7, which is the call sign, I would imagine, for the division sergeant major. And he got news of that and I guess wasn't too happy.
Yeah, we're going to play this 1-minute video. There's some terms he brings up in this, but he seems a little mad.
Mario Torinas, Mountain Tough. Hey, a lot of you have brought to my attention a video that took place at a shoot house in its 10th Mountain Division. We ran it down to the ground. It is 10th Mountain Division. It is our folks, and it really, really hurts to say that. It is not the standard. It is not how we do business. It is non-acceptable. So we're running this thing down to the ground. We will investigate it. We will take action, and we will retrain. That is a guarantee. So for all of you out there, I appreciate bringing it to my attention and make no mistake that is not the 10th Mountain Division standard. It will never be the 10th Mountain Division standard. This took place some time ago, so it's going on a few months. So again, we're running it down to the ground. We will fix it. I guarantee you, I will fix it.
What is running it down to the ground? That we always talk about military terms and phrases on Scuttlebutt. Is that one?
Right. So, I mean, first of all, you ever seen a guy, less comfortable to be on a social media video, right? Like he's probably like, hey, time to get in here and record this. I don't know how this thing works, right? Like somebody who's managing his Twitter account is like, you got to post a video. He's like, okay. So, and then it's just filled with like sergeant major, fun colloquialisms, which, all sergeant majors have to have those. It's another tool in their toolbox, as we like to say in the military. They got to They got to have those things that sergeant majors and first sergeants just say over and over, and that must be one of his things, right? Run it down to the ground. I would imagine that just means like we need to get to the bottom of this, but
Brass tacks.
It's a more fun and hua way of saying it. So good for you, Sergeant Major. But yeah, I mean, he obviously, it was, brought to his attention, and he wants to find out what's going on, and
right.
He doesn't want his division being embarrassed. I mean, the 10th Mountain Division is one of the most prestigious ever, and now they're the butt of a bunch of jokes, and you don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah, that's bad. Also, he likes to ski. I noticed he's got a lot of skis in his office.
Oh, yeah, so he does. Hey, it's 10th Mountain, man. You gotta ski into the fight, I'm sure is what they're doing.
Wow, thank you for breaking down this video for us, because I noticed that this went viral. I thought you'd be a perfect person to bring this in front of, just to say what is going on here, and why is everybody so up in arms about it? Pun intended. But yeah, and I can imagine that Mountain 7, is that his name?
Yeah, it must be his call sign.
Mountain Sun, and I can imagine why Mountain 7 would be a little perturbed by what he saw.
Yeah. So I shared this video with a bunch of guys who I was deployed with, go Phantom platoon, right? And my platoon sergeant, Phantom 7, had quite a few thoughts on it as well. So I incorporated his thoughts into my rant. It is something that we trained on so much, and as an NCO of an infantry squad, and it was something that we did a lot of, and there are just, there are always going to be different ways of doing things. Every unit has its own TTPs and the manner in which they want to do X, Y, and Z, but there are fundamental principles of that battle drill which were not in evidence in that video, right? So that is a no-go.
So what would your recommendation be?
Retraining, a lot of retraining, right? I mean, they need to get back to the books, right? And just read the battle drill, right? And find out like what those basic tenets are, because they were not in evidence. And
what would you have done in the moment? Would you have been like, stop, push-ups, go run laps, or like, how would you have handled that situation?
Oh yeah, no, it would have been an immediate stop. If I was supervising the training, it would have been an immediate stop. Had I been the squad leader of said squad, we would have never gotten to live rounds, right? If I was running through with blanks and you were still doing those sorts of things, I'm not going to give you live ammo, because as just evidence in the video, you might shoot me in the back. I don't want that to happen.
Right.
So no, that is unsat. It is a no-go. It just
unsat. I'm using that from now on. I'm gonna yell. I gotta tell my dog to not eat the cat food. This is unsat.
So many knife hands are being thrown around, right? That's what would happen.
Right. Well, awesome. Well, Scuttlebutters, let us know. I'm using Scuttlebutters as our audience from now on. I don't know why. Scuttlebutters, let us know what your thoughts are on this video. Drop us a comment on YouTube, and always remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.